A big, ugly, gross, squishy thing outside. Like Scatterwood Tales short story for middle grade readers by Jay Wilburn. If you like what you read, check out the Lake Scatterwood Tales books. There are 2 chapter book stories in each book. Crazy things are always happening at Lake Scatterwood. Alright, let's see if we can do something with this. Rebecca brought her face very close to the window. Alright, I've already misspelled something, so let's fix that. Sam held up both his hands from where he sat. Apparently I'm going to misspell everything today. That's going to be my thing today, is misspelling stuff. Sam held up both hands from where he sat at one of the tables in the dining hall of Camp Lake Scatterwood. I wouldn't do that. That thing might break right through that glass. On the other side of the window, giant purple tentacles and suction cups underneath each one. On the other side of the window, big giant purple tentacles and suction cups underneath each one, smeared across the glass. Those slimy things covered every window all around the building. Those slimy things covered every window all around the building, even the windows high up near the ceiling, near the roof. Whatever was out there, it was big and seemed to cover the entire dining hall. It was all purple now, but had been green just a moment ago. Need to do something, Rebecca said. Jake sat near Sam, shuffling a deck of cards over and over. It didn't seem like he was getting ready to play a game. He was just shuffling to have something to do. He was just shuffling to have something to do. Jake said, "I'm going to do something." going to wait for that awful thing to leave. All right. End quotation. Cody joined his friends last. Other kids who made it into the dining hall in time to close the doors were gathered at the other tables, talking quietly among themselves. Cody said, "I've checked every window I can reach in here. I can't see out any of them. I can't tell how big this thing is or how far it reaches." Sam waved toward the roof. "It's big. Big, big. And it reaches pretty far," Jake added. "We can't stay in here forever," Rebecca said. "We'll have to figure something out eventually." "I'm not sure there's anything we can do," Cody said. Sam stood up and started pacing. "Do you think the other kids got away? Or did that thing?" Sam couldn't say it. "I think everyone made it somewhere," Rebecca said. All right. "Some of them ran up to the cabins. Some got to the gym before we came in here. I think I saw some kids slam the doors to the camp store. I believe we were the last ones to get in, so I think everyone is safe for now." but we still need to figure out how to get rid of this thing. It's got arms like an octopus. Cody pointed out. This is no octopus, Jake said. You guys saw it coming up out of the lake. It was way too big and had way too many arms to be an ordinary octopus. It's not the first sea monster to come out of the lake, Rebecca said. That's true, Jake said. Why do our parents keep sending us to this camp? Rebecca added, the last one was friendly. He just got lost. Once we helped the last one was friendly, he just got lost. Once we helped him find his way, everything was fine. Sam shrugged and said, well, he did say he was coming back to make sure we kept the lake clean. Do you think he sent this big monster to punish us? I don't think this is the same type of creature. Okay. Cody said. Besides, we're keeping the lake super clean. Yeah, Jake said. They're always making us pick up trash. Maybe the lake is too clean. Maybe there's too much room, and that's how this giant thing got in there. Don't think that's it, Rebecca said. Maybe we can communicate with it the way we did that other sea monster. You want to write it a letter, Jake asked. Maybe send an email. Rebecca frowned at him, but then turned toward the window. She knocked on the glass. The squishy, swirling arms of the monster froze for a second and then started moving faster. Rebecca knocked again. The tentacles at that window turned from purple to orange. After a few more seconds, all the windows were full of orange tentacles. Jake said, "Well, if we can't communicate with it, we can at least change the color so we don't get bored in here." Rebecca said, help me think of something." Sam looked around. The dining hall is connected to the camp store. There's a storage room in the middle. We can go over and check on the others, maybe. See how they are doing. I like that idea. Jake put his cards in his pocket. I like that idea. Jake put his cards in his pocket and jumped up from the table. Maybe they've thought of something. I like that idea. Jake put his cards in his pocket and jumped up from the table. Maybe they've thought of something. Even if they haven't, that's where all the candy and sodas are. The four of them walked through the dining hall and into the kitchen. The kitchen was dark, but they could see well enough to get to the storage room door. Cody said the counselors and cooks were trapped in another building. I think dinner might be late tonight. Jake said it's super important that we get to that candy then. Rebecca opened the door and gasped. The boys looked around her and they gasped too. Orange tentacles snaked around between the shelves. They picked up board games, kickballs, and costumes from plays that were performed in earlier summers. One tentacle drew up and down the walls with sidewalk chalk. Another knocked books off a shelf, before knocking over a large wagon with a crash. When the wagon crashed, the tentacles started Alright, that is not anywhere near how you spell that. The tentacles started to turn from orange to red. Close the door, Sam whispered. The others were still standing there in shock. Sam yelled louder. Close the door. The red tentacles turned toward the kitchen and rushed at the kids like they were getting ready to strike. Rebecca slammed the door and locked it. The door bounced and shook in its frame as the tentacles beat on the other side. The lock held for now as the kids backed out of the kitchen into the dining hall again. That was close, Cody said. Jake leaned on the serving counter, on the empty serving counter, and started shuffling his cards again. The dining hall had a strange glow to it, with all those red tentacles in the windows. Doesn't look like we're getting to the camp store, Sam said. I'm not giving up yet, Rebecca said. We'll figure out something. What do you have in mind? Cody asked. Rebecca sighed. Nothing. I have no ideas. Then we're back to waiting, Jake said as he lifted the cards to shuffle. Anyone want to play a game? Sam asked. Which one? Just then, the door to the storage room burst open, and the tentacles reached through. One picked up the refrigerator and tore it out of the wall. Others knocked open the drawers. Then some of them picked up the utensils that fell on the floor. Some of those were knives. tentacles are bad enough, Sam yelled. Tentacles with knives are terrible. Jake screamed in surprise and accidentally shot all his cards into the air across the kitchen. I guess we're playing 52 pickup. We need to go, Cody said. Go where? Rebecca asked. We're trapped in the dining hall still. Jake said, anywhere but here would be... Hey, wait. It's got my cards. The tentacles dropped the refrigerator and all the knives to pick up the cards. They held onto the cards as they turned yellow and pulled back into the storage room. All right, I need to make that a statement. There we go. Jake shouted, "Hey, those are mine. Bring my cards back." In the other room, they heard the tentacles shuffling. What is going on? Sam asked. The tentacles are playing cards. Cody said. My cards. Jake slammed his fist down on the counter. The tentacles in the windows around them turned from yellow to pink. It likes playing cards, Rebecca said. Do we have any more? Sam pointed There are some in the storage room. Oh, great, Cody said. No thanks. It's distracted by Jake's cards, Rebecca said. We might be able to sneak in. We need to get all we can. The four of them snuck forward through all the mess in the kitchen. They peeked through the storage room door and saw pink tentacles shuffling again. As the cards shuffled, the monster's arms rolled through a rainbow of colors. Rebecca whispered, "Okay, I see boxes of cards on the floor across the room. Let's go get as many as we can." The kids tiptoed between the shelves. They ducked under the monster's arms and started stuffing packs of playing cards into their pockets. "Come on," Rebecca whispered again. "We need to get out of here." "Come on," Rebecca whispered again. "We need to get out of here." They made it about halfway back to the kitchen when Jake sneezed loud enough to echo through the room. My fault. My bad. I know that was the worst time for that. The tentacles reached for the kids. "Run," Rebecca yelled. Jake took a second to tear open another pack of cards. He then threw them across the room. Cards went everywhere. More tentacles reached in from outside to collect them. The kids ran back into the dining hall. That was close, Sam said. What do we do now? Open the doors, Rebecca said. That's funny, Jake said. I thought you said open the doors. Wouldn't that be crazy? I did say it. I did say it, Rebecca answered. We need to get this thing off the building so we can escape. Get all the cards open and ready. The other kids hid under the tables as Rebecca, Sam, Cody, and Jake flung open the doors. The tentacles that reached in were sort of a bright, let's say light brown color. The kids threw 3 packs of cards before all those arms pulled away from the building. As they started shuffling, the arms turned all the colors of the rainbow. The 4 kids ran outside to see the dining hall was clear, but the other buildings were still covered. Jake said, "We need to split up." We need to split up. Throw cards at every one of those arms until everyone is free. The kids ran in 4 different directions. They kept throwing the cards. Camp store. The gym. The cabins. And the stable were soon all free. The sound of shuffling filled the air everywhere. Sam covered his ears and cried out, "What do we do now?" Challenge it to a game of rummy. Jake shouted over all that noise. Before anyone else could answer, the arms started to slide away. There were too many of them to be able to see the monster itself. But it kept going. Moved around beyond the lake and disappeared into the woods and mountains away from the camp. Now I don't have any cards, Jake said, and everything is covered in slime. Well, we got rid of it, Rebecca said. Time to start cleaning up. Jake picked up a broom from off the porch in front of the dining hall. That's all we do around here. We fight off monsters and clean up. Kids found brooms and mops of their own and joined Jake in cleaning up all the monster slime.